Hello and welcome to the fifth CTIS walk-in clinic. My name is Roxana Spulber and I'm a Change Management Officer at EMA. Prior to starting the event, let me start with some housekeeping rules. We will be using Slido to collect questions. Here is how to use Slido. Go to slide.do and enter the code on the screen, Clinic 5, or scan the QR code on the screen. The code and the QR code will be visible on all the presented slides for ease of access. You can ask your questions there and give a thumbs up to any questions you want to see answered. We will answer the most popular question first, so please ensure to use the thumbs up feature. Please keep the questions focused on CTIS functionality. If the video screen is blurry or difficult to see, please read the instruction in the gray box underneath the video on the event page. There you can find a link to watch the live broadcast on full screen. In full screen mode, you can increase the video quality by clicking the HD button on the bottom right of the screen and choosing 720p or 1080p setting. At the end of the event, a post-event survey poll will be opened in Slido to gather your feedback for this session of the walk-in clinics. I will now introduce some usage metrics for CTIS. These metrics show the stats as of 2nd of May 2022 and are cumulative since 31st of January 2022. The graph below show the number of initial trial applications with full dossier submitted in accordance with Article 5 of the CTR for applicable status at UU level. So we have 4 authorized CTAs, 4 CTAs lapsed at the time of the validation, 6 CTAs withdrawn by the sponsor at the time of validation, and 42 CTAs under evaluation. The second graph shows the number of initial trial applications with full dossier submitted in accordance with Article 5 of the CTI per applicable status at the level of member states concerned. In multinational clinical trials, the same application has been submitted to multiple member states concerned, and it is counted in the graph in each applicable MSC. For more information on CTIS, you can consult various resources. Some of them are listed on the slide. The CT Highlights newsletter, the training and support page, and for guidance on CTR interpretation, you can consult Udralex Volume 10. I would like now to introduce you to our expert, Noémie Manon, Principal Scientific Administrator and leader of the Operation Workstream for the CTIS, enabling the application of the clinical trial regulation, and Ana Rodriguez Sanchez Beato, our CTIS expert and leader of the process workstream at EMA, and she has been involved in the implementation of the clinical trials regulation and the development of CTIS, providing a business perspective. I am now handing it over to our expert. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. So this is the 5th walk-in clinic. And what we will do today is that with Anna and myself, we will try to answer your questions that I believe you've already started to populate in the Slido. So thank you for that.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session. As Noemi has indicated, we will try to support you and address some of your questions. And for the others, if we are not able to address those questions, we will take note to ensure that they are made clear in other relevant documents that you may want to consult also when preparing your application and submit also.
Thank you, Noémie and Anna. And I'm now going to share the questions. You can see them on the screen right now. as mentioned, we will answer the most voted, the most popular questions first. So who would like to
Perhaps
take the first
I can.
question?
Yeah, I perhaps can take the first one. I will read it and then I will try to answer the question. Unable to delete documents mistakenly uploaded. For example, non-publication document mistakenly uploaded in placeholder for publication. System does not allow to delete. Heldes took 24 hours to resolve an improvement plan. Okay, so thank you very much. I think the first thing is if you experience this type of problems, the first thing you need to do is to report them through the service desk, as the person that answered the question has done. So well done from your side. And of course, as you know, this is a new system. We know you can experience problems with the system, and this is why it's important you report it. And in this particular case, obviously, when more than one incident is reported, we normally what we do is create what we call a problem. So this means that individual incidents are addressed individually. So if a user has a problem and it raises an incident, and then it's tried to be addressed for that particular user, but then we try to create what we call problems. So when there are incidents that are the same, we create a problem and we will try to find a definitive solution for those problems. And depending on how relevant or how critical are those problems, they will be prioritized and will be planned to be solved as soon as possible. So that is the way it works. So my advice is that you look regularly when you are going to prepare your application to the release notes that are published in our website, because it's in the release note where we will indicate which functionalities has been fixed. So if you experience this problem before, now if it has been addressed through a problem fixing, then it will be indicated that particular problem has been solved. So we cannot give you an answer specifically on this particular question. What we advise is that you look at the release notes that are published in the homepage of CTIS.
Yes, thank you very much, Anna. Maybe just to supplement the response, please also consult the known issues, because we know about one particular document, which is called the labeling document. We have had some reports of issues exactly as you've described, where the sponsor user is not able to delete a document that is uploaded to a draft clinical trial application when it is linked to a product. So this is actually reported. We know about it. We're trying to I think our IT colleagues are currently trying to find a fix for this. Now, it is correct also that we've had a report for another example of a document, and we're currently certainly trying to find a solution for that. What I would say is that if the service desk did come back to you within 24 hours to resolve the item, I think that's a good score, I would say. And as Anna mentioned, do report any issues. Obviously, you would have explaining what the item is to our service desk. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Noemi. In fact, I forgot to mention the non-issues. Both documents are published in the same place, in the same area, so you will find both together. So, but yes, whatever has been fixed will be removed from the list of non-issues and will be presented in the release note. So,
Okay, thank you.
So we'll take the next question. So the next question is about the upload. When uploading a document in CTIS, there is a mandatory date field. Should this be be updated with the effective date of the document, or should it be the date when the document is being uploaded in CTIS? I think this functionality was developed in order for the sponsor to record in this date field the actual date of the document, not when it was uploaded, because the date when it's uploaded, the system would know about it, obviously. But this is really a way for you to track your documents, for you to enter the date of the document as well as the name of the document. This is what we call the metadata of that specific document.
okay. I will take then the next one. CTIS does not offer the possibility to extract a list of submitted documents which contain the metadata, document date, version, comments. Will this functionality be added? Well, I have to say, first of all, I cannot answer if we have already a ticket that addresses this particular request, so I cannot answer the question. What I can tell you is we have still a backlog of things that need to be first fixed or improve in the system. And we are working with the member state and with the sponsor, what we call product owners, to prioritize what need to be implemented in the first place, what is the highest priority. For sure, we don't believe this is the highest priority, so we don't expect this to be added soon. And even I cannot confirm at this stage if even this is something that is already in our backlog. So sorry for that, but it's the answer I can give at this moment.
So the next question is about one particular document, actually. This the one that we've already mentioned in CTIS. The first labels uploaded for a product cannot be deleted. If an incorrect label is uploading containing information that is not for publication, the only option seems to be to cancel the trial, request a new EUCT number and restart all over. Can this be solved? Yes, we are just very much in agreement with that. We are, as mentioned, this is a known issue. We are looking into finding a solution to this. If you do encounter this particular issue in the system, do raise a service desk ticket. Our IT colleagues are absolutely able to fix this sort of problems in the backend. They can do it for you. You would then need to raise the ticket. So please do not cancel your application and start all over again. That would be obviously not what we would want for you. Absolutely not. So do raise the ticket in the service desk.
Okay. How can the system facilitate an urgent SM substantial that occurs during an evaluation of an already ongoing application? For example, change of principal investigator that will happen before we have approval for the ongoing application. Is there a way to submit in a timely manner? Well, I have to say that here you have the guidance in the question and answer that is published in the UDRALES volume 10, and that was prepared by the Commission in collaboration with the member state represented by competent authorities and ethics committee. And I think here, if there is very urgent, if there is something that needs to be modified in an urgent manner, I think, and there is already an ongoing substantial modification, meaning that you cannot submit another one, the option that you have is to withdraw the application and resubmit a substantial modification, including this change. So this is one of the options that is addressed in the Q&A. Also, the same applies in case, for example, you have an urgent safety measure. The recommendation in the Q&A is that in that case you submit a notification, because you can do notify an urgent safety measure while the previous substantial modification is ongoing. And as soon as this is finished, then you can prepare a substantial modification if required in relation to the safety measure. Or alternative, you can withdraw, as I explained before, that substantial modification and resubmit a new one, including whatever is required in relation to the safety measure. So I think my advice is that you look at the Q&A for the Commission, because they provide very good guidance on this question.
Thank you, Anna. So the next question that we have there on the screen, can we see somewhere after approval which authority and which ethics committee have been involved, I guess, in the decision on the trial for that specific member state? In case the member state would not upload an approval letter. So I think for the answer on this one, the clinical trial regulation is quite clear. The decision is the decision of the member state. We don't have anymore with the clinical trial regulation a split approval of a trial. between the National Competent Authority and the Ethics Committee. So here, what the sponsor would receive is one single decision. On that decision, as it's written there, maybe the member state would want, with an uploaded documentation, to actually inform on the name of this ethics committee and the name of the national competent authorities. But again, this is not mandatory there, as you can see from the clinical trials system functionality. So here, if you are willing to know, I think you can reach out directly to the national competent authorities of that member state.
Okay. Transition trials, how to manage different inclusion-exclusion criteria for member states when consolidating protocol. Should a comment be included in exclusion-inclusion criteria section that the criteria only apply to certain member states, or should this be included in appendix? I have to say, again, for transition trials, there is a section in the Q&A from the Commission. It's not clear to me this specific question is addressed that there, but I mean, in this case, I would use the common sense, and because inclusion criteria is a test field, I think it has sense for me, the proposal that is mentioned here, where you can enter your criteria and in brackets you can specify what is the member states. Also, bear in mind that the protocol is part of the dossier that you are going to submit with application. So the member states, our assessor, will have the information also indicated in the consolidated protocol.
So then we have here a question on will the justification from the sponsor for withdrawal be published, and when? So no, any trial, or let's say any clinical trial application that is withdrawn before a decision is taken, and this is only the only possibility, in fact, in such a way the information on that specific application is never published. The justification either would not be published. This is in compliance with the clinical trial regulation that requires that any trial that has a decision be published. Or let's say, again, I've used the wrong terminology. I should have said the clinical trial application for which a decision has been taken is published. So obviously the withdrawal would occur before the decision is taken. So in that case, nothing is published. No information from the clinical trial application, and same, the justification for that withdrawal would not be published either.
Okay. Where and how is the proof of payment uploaded to CTIS? Okay, the proof of payment is when you draft the clinical trial application, there is a menu in the left-hand side, and the first part of the menu is the form. And in the form is where you will attach the cover letter, where you will include the proof of payment, and then information on the deferral. So it's there where you are expected to include the proof of payment. So in any case, again, you have a lot of extensive training material in our website that explain how to prepare an application, and you will be guided how to complete the different sections, including the form. Regarding if it will be public, the answer is yes. The placeholder is for publication, and therefore that is the case. And again, we have in the public domain also the transparency rules that apply in the CTIS system, and it's a document that we recommend you to look at if you want to get familiarized on what will be or not made public. And also we publish, and there is a link in the sponsor handbook on the data structure form, which include all the fields that are required to complete when preparing any type of application, as well as the document that need to be uploaded. And there you have also information if that particular document will be made publicly available or not.
Thank you, Anna. So the next question is about transitional trial. So we have a trial which is ongoing and completed in some countries. Do we need to include completed countries when we actually transfer to CTIS? So the answer is no. Any countries for which the trial has been completed has ended, and such a notification has actually been made to the member states. Then for these, the sponsor should not transition those countries. There is a Q&A on this. I don't know which one it is, but there's a question and answer specifically on this. So you can refer to the volume 10 Q&A information that has been published by the Commission.
Okay, so I can take the next one. Let me check. Clarify the implication of the contact point for the union. It's not clear to me. What do you mean by? It's difficult to answer this question because I'm not sure what do you mean by the implication of the contact point. The contact point is for the sponsor. You need to provide under the sponsor sections. You need to provide in the part 1 of the application several information, several contact points, and one is the one for the union in case they need to liaise. There is a scientific contact point that is more for scientific questions, and there is the contact point for the union where a member state can approach as well when there are issues. But anyway, again, these are questions that are better clarified in the Q&A from the Commission. That's again, we advise that you look at it because not all the questions you are raising here are specifically related to CTIS, but are more regulatory and legal questions which the Commission Q&A clarify in detail.
So the next question is probably related on the so the Q&A from the European Commission. A consolidated protocol can be transitioned without the need of a substantial amendment under the CTD. Can you please confirm the same applies to the IMPDQ document? Can this document be consolidated instead of being harmonized? Okay, so if we need to clarify the Q&A on the Commission, I think what I would say that this is obviously not strictly CTIS functionalities, but the advice is that you do need to ensure that you have a consolidated protocol. That's for sure. And in order to have a consolidated protocol, you will need to do a substantial amendment under the CTD if the protocol is not already consolidated. And in the IMPDQ, I must say I can't see why you have distinct IMPDQ for distinct member states. I would assume that you have one IMPDQ if it's one product. So I will actually advise you to go back to your member states and to liaise with them directly to confirm what is the way to approach your transitioning. Thank you.
We now have a question that is a little bit more on the technical side regarding uploading videos on the portal.
No, it's as far as I know, it's not possible to upload the videos in the portal. As far as I know, at the level of the clinical trial expert group of the Commission, which is the one that has been involved in the preparation of the Q&A, I think they are discussing aspects like this one and related to materials to facilitate the recruitment of subjects and at this moment, as I said, CTIS does not provide the possibility to upload videos as far as I know.
Thank you.
So if it will be required at the end, this will need to be a change in the system.
So the next question is about the investigator signing the protocol at any point in time. This is not actually stated in the CSR. That's correct. It's not cited. It's not mentioned in the CTR. And I would actually want to refer you back to the volume 10 Q&A, which were actually revised recently. There are some clarification on signature. I don't know whether it's particularly directed towards the protocol. It might just be in relation to part 2, but have a look. But clearly, it's not stated in the CSR. That's correct.
Okay, I will take the other one. Is there clarity or guidance on transitioning master and sub-protocols currently approved under CPD to CTR? If not, will EMA be providing this? I don't think there is a specific guidance on transition in this from the Clinical Trial Directive of CTR. There is some guidance that might be helpful to you are those published by the former Clinical Trial Facilitation Group, which is made up of delegates from the clinical trial units in the member states, in the competent authorities of the member state, which now is called the Clinical Trial Coordination Group. And they have published a document that is named Recommendation Paper on the Initiation and Conduct of Complex Clinical Trial. And I think there they provide some guidance on how this should be managed and how to use in some way the system to overcome some of the potential problem. But it's not specifically in relation to transition trial, but I think that a recommendation paper will be useful for you.
Good. Thank you, Anna. So the next one is a question on may competent authority upgrade NSM to so non-substantial modification to substantial modification. This would cause problems due to the fact that the document might have been already used directly after notification. So there is mention of the BfArM explicitly raised fees for such an assessment, and the outcome might be that we don't agree with the sponsor's assessment. Okay, so I think there is a clear guidance on the non-SM on the non-substantial modification within the Q&A, the question and answers prepared by the Commission. So you should refer to those. Now, saying this, it is up to the sponsor to assess their non-substantial modification and to ensure that that fits within the definition of all the guidance provided by the Commission. The member state will, at some point, obviously consult the information that is being submitted to them. They will. Now, they could certainly raise consideration. They could certainly raise and send you a request for information. I think there will be a discussion between them and yourself. I don't think it's just as black and white and say they will automatically say that this is a substantial modification as such. I think what we need to understand is that obviously there is an assessment by myself, and when the member state receive the information, they may have some questions, and that is possible. That's always possible, huh? And that's a way I would come answer your point here.
Thank you, Noemi.
Okay, the next one is please confirm that PIP trials and trial in the scope of Article 46 conducted in third countries will need to be uploaded in UDRA-CT beyond January 2023. Do you have a timeline to implement their country provided activity in CTIS? And then the answer is yes, you are right. That will be the case for pediatric third country trials. They will continue to be done in UDRA-CT. And at this moment, we don't have a timeline on when we can implement this in CTIS because there are other things that have higher priority at that stage. So, and therefore, those are the ones that will fit the next releases that we plan for the system. So we cannot give an answer at this moment. Perhaps, Noemi, I can take the next one because it's related to user administration. If you agree?
Very good, Anna. Yes, please. Thank you.
So and then you take the other one. My organization followed the organization-centric approach. However, any user is able to create a new trial, even if they are not previously assigned CT admin with a scope all trial. Is this bug going to be fixed? So that should not be the case. So, I mean, it's important to understand the context of organization-centric versus city-centric. If it's organization-centric, you are supposed to have a sponsor admin register. That means that when you create the application and you select that organization that have a sponsor administrator, the user should not be able to create an application if it has not been assigned with the city admin role. And here I'm talking about the initial application, of course. So therefore, if you are experiencing this problem where your organization has a sponsor administrator and any user can select your organization that is linked to a sponsor administrator and can create an application even if they are not city admin, then please report immediately that issue to the service desk so we can further investigate, because that should not be the case. A different matter if you believe that you are following the organization-centric approach when you are not, meaning that you don't have in your organization registered and sponsor an administrator. In that case, anyone can create an application selecting that organization, because the system will check in the back end that there is no a sponsor admin associated to that organization, and then they can proceed and create an application. So therefore, first, have reassurance that you are really following the organization-centric approach and not the city-centric. And if you have reassurance that, yes, I have a sponsor admin linked to that organization, however, anyone can create my application for my organization, even if they are not city admin with a scope of trial, then please ensure you report this issue immediately in our service desk, please.
So the next question is about having a partial application being sent to some member states, and for others, we've got a full application sent. So if a study has a part 1 approved, and so I would probably say a part 1 acceptable, this is the wording of the regulation. So the part 1 is acceptable, the part 2 is also acceptable in some countries. And I guess those countries have had a decision issued to the sponsor. Can those countries start recruiting patients? Absolutely, they can. As soon as the member state has actually issued the single decision, those countries, the recruitment can start, the study can actually start. Obviously, we will have some other countries for which the part 2 has not yet potentially be submitted, or even submitted, and then it's obviously not yet concluded. And for those countries, obviously, recruitment cannot start.
Okay, so the next question, will it be possible to delete sites from part 2 section of the application during a part 2 RFI? For sure, that should be possible. When you have an RFI, you have the option to change the application in different areas, and this includes the possibility to delete the sites. And in fact, you are recommended to do it if they are not going to be approved, let's say, or accepted.
So thank you, Anna. The next question is on deferral. So when requesting a deferral, category 1 requires justification published with the investigator's brochure. Category 3 requires a justification for deferral published at decision. But for category 2, we don't require such justification. This is correct. This is the way the transparency document in relation to the deferral has been prepared. So what we call the transparency rules. This is correct. This is the way it's actually built in the system. And so now, why do we have such a difference? I believe that for the category 1, the reason for having a justification attached to the investigator's brochure is to for further transparency, to explain why the sponsor was requiring such a deferral. In case of category 3, knowing that this is potentially a phase 3, we understand that there is a reason why this deferral was requested, and then the sponsor can further explain within this particular box or text field why they're requesting such a deferral. Now, for category 2, it's not been foreseen to have such a reasoning. I guess these are the rules.
For the field, are any of the sponsor or co-sponsor commercial? Does commercial refer to pharmaceutical company? Well, normally commercial sponsor relates to pharmaceutical company. Probably is more problematic in the other way when it's an academic sponsor, if it's really commercial or not, depending on certain circumstances. But I think, again, this question is not specifically related to CTIS and is more a regulatory question. And again, we advise you to look at the Q&A from the Commission that I think provide advice on this particular question.
So the next question is about the decision PDF file. Does not only state the reporting date and the download date. We have downloaded the blank document, but there is no field for it. Is there a document that shows also the decision date for a particular member state? So I must say, on this one, I thought the decision PDF file was now recording the correct dates. If it is not the case, please raise a ticket to the service desk, because I was under the impression that this was a topic that had been that for which we've actually done some work in the system. So please, if it's not correct, do raise a service desk ticket.
Will the sponsor need to sign the protocol at any point in time? This is not definitely stated in the CTR. Will any document needed to be signed at all? Cover letter, provide a copy of the signature when making the documents publicly available. I think this, again, here you have some guidance in the Q&A for the Commission, and clearly it's stated that there is no need to sign the documents. And because the submission is just acceptable. But in any case, I think, I don't remember now all the details, but I think this is clarifying the Q&A for the Commission. So please look at the Q&A and this particular question.
So the question is about, in CTIS, after having selected the IMPD, what fields are getting auto-populated? So in fact, here we try to make the data entry easier for the sponsors, in the sense that the information comes directly from the ex-CVMPD. So by selecting the IMPD, so you would select a particular product for which you are of the knowledge, either it's a marketed product, therefore you know exactly which one it is. In such a case, you will have the name, the EV code of that product, its substance name, the associated EV code of the substance or substances, if there are several. You will have the dosage, the pharmaceutical form, the marketing authorization number. You will have the associated name of that product. You will have the name of the marketing authorization holder also. So what I'm trying to recall now is that obviously you will have the details of the substances, if there are several. So this is what will be auto-populated from the XCV-MPD. Obviously, it's purely, let's say, structured data. That is, it's only structured data that is downloaded from the auto-populated from the XCV-MPD. So this means that as a sponsor in CTIS, you will still need to provide some information. So that information can be related to whether this is the actual maximum dosage that is foreseen for the trial. So anything that is study specific, really. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Noemi. We are getting closer to the end of the event, and I would suggest to take 2-3 more questions and then to close the event. Okay.
Okay, so should we then? I think I answered already this question. Is proof of payment made public in CTIS? And the answer is yes. I will take the third one in the list here in the organization, because I think it's important in the organization-centric approach. When the sponsor admin grants CT admin roles with the scope of trials to a user, this only works for the already existing trial. However, if a new trial is created for that organization, the CT admin does not have access. Is this a bug in the system? I would say yes, because if the user has a scope, all trials should have access to all trial for that organization. Therefore, I suggest that you report this via services so it can be further investigated.
Yeah, one more question, Noemi.
Okay, so we'll take the last question. And the last question is the one below, yeah, the one about the ESR. For ESR submission, product clinical trial section must be done individually. Will there be a future enhancements to be able to select multiple with one click? Oh, I think obviously if it was down to Anna and myself, I'm sure we would say yes, we would like to do that. But I think, as you know, any improvement needs to be put into a bucket of prioritization, and then we would look into it. I must say on this particular one, and I don't know if you recall, was this something that we had in mind? I know it was discussed as potentially not a very user-friendly UI, but I think it's the way to it's the way today it is developed. The system is developed. It's the fact that the sponsor may be able will have or does have today to select one by one the various products.
Okay. Again, possibly there is already a ticket to make an improvement here, but again, I cannot let you know when this can be implemented, because we have a long list, a backlog of things that need to be done. And as I said, we are working with the representatives from the sponsor community and member state to identify what are the highest priorities to have a better user experience. So I cannot give a specific answer here.
Okay, thank you, Noemi. Thank you, Anna. We are at the end of our event. So thank you very much for participating into the event. The post-event survey poll will be activated in a few seconds. Please provide your feedback. We will have our next event, our next walk-in clinic on the 15th of June. And on the 23rd of June, there will be the next bite-sized talk on additional member state concerned and transitional trials. If you need to be up to date with information on CTIS, please subscribe to the CT Highlights newsletter. Please bear in mind that the recording of this event will be made available on the event page in 60 days. And the questions that have not yet been answered, or all the questions that you have asked, will be used for our training materials. Thank you very much, and hope to see you to our next event.
Thank you very much. And as Roxana was saying, please do fill in the EU survey. That certainly helps us to further improve the way we actually deliver this those bite-sized talk and walking clinics. So thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, many thanks from my side as well. And I hope you found the session useful. And again, we recommend you look at the training material, Q&As from the Commission and sponsor handbook, where you will find many answers to your questions.